Good morning, good evening. I'm Jay Marie, host of That Part Podcast. And today I have with me the lovely Miss Chef D Woods. She is a chef out of Dallas, Texas, and she's going to give us more insight into how she got into this and her background and all that good stuff. So let me go ahead and let Chef D take it away, ma'am. Introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chef D Woods from The Soul of Things. I am a private chef out of Dallas. I got started cooking at an early age. I started cooking in high school, and I just decided to incorporate it into a business to feed people and hopefully touch their souls while I'm doing it. So,
Okay. And one of the things I know when we talked about sort of in the background before we got started was that you started this business originally, and then you wanted to, well, you started being a chef at one point, and then you stopped, or you started the food business, and kind of give us the background on why you started initially, what stopped you, what made you pick it back up, and just that journey for us.
yeah, so when me cooking from high school, I wasn't trying to start it as a business, but when I did try to start it as a business, I was actually doing it for me. This is like a revelation, starting it for the wrong reasons. Like how much money I was going to make, how many followers I was going to get. And then it got to the point where cooking or baking, it wasn't fun for me anymore. And I lost a passion for it. And then I was investing in certain things that I shouldn't have been investing in. So I just decided to take a step back to the point where I was literally in my living room one day, and from changing my name to how I was going to reintroduce myself as a chef just kind of came to me. And I even changed my name because this was not my name previously before. It was actually Tracy Treats for You, because I did a lot more desserts than I did food. And then I was like, you know what? I can cook too. So I just decided to change everything about me and just had a different outlook on my business. So now I do my business in a different way. Like it's not about money. It's not about followers. It's literally me putting my passion and my skills out there for the world to see. So that is how I know me starting this business again is going to be successful whichever way I go. So.
Okay. So now I'm not entirely a foodie, but I am to some degree when it comes to soul food. So I noticed in the name it says into the soul of things.
Mhm.
Now, does soul entirely encompass soul food, or is it a wide array of types of foods that you cook? And then what makes you different from other chefs that might be out there? Like, what would you say makes you stand out?
So the word soul does not necessarily pertain to soul food. It's more of just different varieties of food to make sure that it touches your soul. So I do vegan, I do
Okay.
keto, I do foods for diabetics, I do sugar-free foods or desserts. So I can do a wide range of foods. I actually just did a wedding that was completely vegan and vegetarian, but
Wow.
it still had
Okay.
enough
Okay.
flavors and seasonings to the point where they were like, "Oh, is this vegan eggs? Are you sure?" Like, I'm positive it is. But I can incorporate any type of style of food and make it to the point where I just wanted to touch your soul. But it's not necessarily soul food. It's just I just wanted to make sure it reaches the person and also satisfy my customer or clients or anything that they want for that event or whatever they want to hire me for. So
Okay.
I would say that's
Okay.
what makes me stand out of different chefs. I can't. It's a bad but yet good thing. I can cook a lot of different things. So
I don't think that's a
I just
bad thing entirely
yeah.
because I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's amazing to find someone who can cook a wide array of foods because I think when we, well, I have a personal chef friend back home. I don't
Mhm.
want to say a personal chef friend. Jesus, he's not my personal chef friend. I wish he was, cause baby, whoo. Um, but being professional here,
Mhm.
um, he's a chef that I know he can cook a wide range of foods as well. So I think when we put the title of chef on anybody's title, we assume you can cook. a wider range
Hmm.
of foods. I mean, that's the
Hmm.
assumption. You're not a specialist of seafood, soul food, Mexican food, Vietnamese food, whatever kind of food, Jamaican food. It's every kind of food category, I guess you'd say.
Hmm. Yeah.
But for you, when you say you cook a wide array, do you have a like a specialty that you maybe have as like, this is what I specialize in though? Or is it literally whatever's asked?
Most of the things that people have asked me, I know how to do, but my heart will always be with Cajun, good comfort home cooking, soul food. That's how I was raised. So, when I moved to Dallas, at a young age, that's the first time of me being introduced to soul food. And I learned from my big mama, my grandmother, my aunts, some uncles, to the point where they taught me how to cook from scratch, just a wide range of soul food. And then of course, I'm definitely known for my desserts. I can cook a lot. I can bake a lot of desserts. So that's
Okay.
originally, I mentioned before, that's what I started out as, is in desserts, from cakes to pies to cobblers, all of that, cheesecakes, all of that.
Oh Lord, you're making me hungry now. And I'm not just whew, I didn't know. Okay, so where are you originally from? Because you say soul food and Cajun. So now this is making me ask, like, am I getting Louisiana, Mississippi?
And that's the crazy part. I am a military child. We moved
Okay,
around a lot. Not a
okay,
lot,
okay,
but we've been in. I've been in Hawaii. I've been in Seattle, Washington. I've been in Oklahoma. I have visited Louisiana, and I do have some family from Louisiana. And
okay,
deep rooted blood is from Louisiana as well. So I've never lived in Louisiana, but I got some family members that come from Louisiana, yes. And people have told me when they taste my food, they're like, "You don't taste this. Don't taste like it's from Texas." I was like, "What does it taste like? Like you from Louisiana or Mississippi somewhere?" I was like, "That could be possible, but definitely I do have some deep rooted
okay,
family that's from Louisiana, yes." Hmm.
okay, okay. I'm gonna have to get a sample. Okay, we
I
probably have to
got
talk
you.
about that later. We have to talk
I
about that
got
later
you.
because maybe we'll have a part two about how
Hmm.
it tasted for J. Marie. I don't know, but okay. So when we talk about your experience as a chef and a business owner, you said you started this one time. You had the wrong intentions, or you feel you had the wrong intentions because it
I
was all
did,
about
yeah.
money originally. Then you
Money
started
and
the
yeah.
second time. Okay. So what made you start it a second time, and then did that fail and you started it again, or was it kind of like one of those trial and error things?
The second time I started, I actually got sick. I actually got really sick back in 2019, right before the pandemic. I got really sick to the point where I was in and out of the hospital. So that's another
Mm,
thing that killed my business. Like people were asking me, "Are you ever going to start back food again?" So me being sick and then the pandemic, a lot of people weren't doing food. Restaurants were shutting down, and people
mhm.
didn't feel comfortable getting food from people at that particular time. So that's another thing that played into me not cooking anymore. But
Okay.
a little side note, I used to weigh over 300, and I almost got it to 350 pounds. I now weigh 161. And
Wow, that's major.
yeah,
And it came from
yeah, it came like the weight or the weight loss.
the weight loss. Did it come from the weight gain, did it come from your cooking and your style of cooking, or did it come from you like doing a lifestyle change with your lifestyle as well as the way that you cook? So you offer a variety of things when the
So
way that you cook.
when I the weight gain actually had to do with not necessarily what I ate, but it was me holding on to stress, a job that I
Mm,
wasn't happy with, just very negative things that was affecting me. And
okay.
one of the, so yeah, me trying to start this business and me not even being happy or right in my mind, that's another thing that played into me, just everything failing. And then when I got back on track, I one of the things that helped me food wise was that's how I learned how to cook keto meals, vegan meals, more healthier meals as well, and branch into more different types of food to help me with my new way of eating.
Okay.
So, because I will say 80% of me losing weight had to do with what I ate and how I prepared my food. So that's the reason why I wanted to like people who are, like I said, diabetics or people who are in a weight loss or they want to build more muscle. I do offer meal plans for them to the point that can help them with their journey as far as eating. But eating's only half of it. You also, I don't even call it a weight loss journey. I call it a killing journey. So like what is adding to your life that's making you stressed out or you come home and you're just not happy, or even if it's not cooking, is you used to do hair, but you lost your passion for hair. Why? What's
That's
going
what I
on
was
in
gonna
your
say.
life,
And what is taken away
Yeah.
from it just as well? What's adding to it and what's
hmm
taken away from it? Because the quality of life we live can take away from our health too. Whether
hmm
it's lack of sleep, like you said, stress, all those sort of things.
Right.
So that brings
hmm
me to my assumption is you're a mother. And if I'm
Yeah.
wrong, I apologize. Okay, you're a mother. So just as
Yeah.
myself. So you have that juggling act, right? So
hmm
with the juggling act, how do you balance? Or you also have a 9 to 5 as well as a business?
I do.
Okay. So let's talk
I
about
do.
that. Let's unpack that.
All
Let's
right
talk
now.
about how that balance goes. Now, tell me.
hmm hmm
So
So,
with
whew,
juggling, you have one child, two children, or
I have one child
what's
and a
the
child dog.
dynamic? Okay. Oh,
I have
one
I
child
have-
and a child dog. Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh. hmm
Child dog. I don't have a child dog. I got three childs. but
Okay.
but a child dog can be equivalent to two children, human children.
Yes.
Sometimes I've heard.
hmm
So one child. Let's talk. Well, and I guess we could talk about the child dog, but you gonna have to guide me in that arena. I don't know that arena too well, but
Uh,
how does juggling parenthood with a business and then also a job, and I'm assuming a full-time job where this is growing to be a full-time business,
mhm.
but right now it's maybe that in between. Talk about that journey.
So this has not been an easy, journey. I had my son at a very young age. He just turned 14. So I've been in this game for a minute, and I also started school as well when he was born. So when I used to cook, or even now, I, I try to get as much sleep as I can, but I prioritize my needs. I did pick, I mentioned before, a stressful job. I had to make a change in my position in order for me to work from home. So I do work from home in my 9 to 5. And then I also have my business, my food business that's started based inside my home, but now branching onto commercial kitchens. And then I'm also going to be getting a food truck, but I only do my food on the weekends. I only do my
Okay.
food on the weekend. So if I do something during the week, it is strictly like someone is doing a meal prep or someone wants to order a dessert from me. But any caterings, any major events, I only do it on the weekends to give me that balance Monday through Friday for my
Mm-hmm.
son, taking him to school, my 9 to 5. But I will say this, no matter about my 9 to 5 or my business, my son will always come first. So I do make sure between my job and my business that I have that flexibility to cater or to make sure he's well taken care of. So it all balances it out. It's not easy. I just had an event yesterday where and he was with me. I'm teaching him this business as well. Because
That's
if he ever
amazing.
wants to start, take over the business, and I'm also teaching him work ethics as well. He got paid yesterday. He got paid
Hey,
for coming with
okay.
me, getting up, lifting stuff, serving plates. I'm teaching him life skills and lifestyle that he needs in order to survive in this world. So it all balances out pretty good. And he's actually a really big supporter of mine. But I will never put too much on my plate where I can't handle it. And if I do get overwhelmed, I'll take a step back and say something got to go. But I'm always going to pray about whatever I do. But my food business will eventually become a full-time thing. So that's what I'm
I
growing
believe
it
in that.
into.
I believe in that. And I think it's something that you said that I want to touch on when you said that you changed your job so that or you changed your role so that it's a work from home role. I think that's important for us as parents, as mothers, whether you're a single parent or you're in a both parents household. There's a balance that you have to have, and I think that pandemic time, that closed down time, that time where nobody could do hardly anything in life without this whole big old ordeal going outside or trying to literally it was like the apocalypse or something right outside trying to
Yeah.
figure out what you could go to, what's open, what's rationing out this and that. That was a really crazy time.
Hmm.
But I think it taught companies, how to understand that you can offer that balance for your not your coworkers, your employees, but I think it also taught the employees or the workers, whatever you want to call us, 9 to 5ers,
Hmm. Hmm.
that we need balance. If we're going to live a life that gives us the quality of life that we want, we have to take a step back and think about, is it worth the money? Is it worth the time and stress? Some of the things that we've gotten degrees for, we may not operate in those degrees, not because it was a waste of money or a waste. It could have been a waste of time. Okay. I speak for myself on that. Some of it could have been a waste of time. But when you think about this degree would pay a lot of money, if I got into this role, but it comes with this much stress. And right now, I'm at this kind of stress where it's like it's very doable. But this much
Hmm.
stress, like, baby, I don't want that kind of stress in my life. Not I'm not at the age in life where I need that to
Hmm.
give me a rise out of life. I don't need this kind of stress. I'm okay
Right.
with this kind of stress. And maybe even this kind where it's the halfway because then it gives you that push to like you stretch your muscles to get muscle. You got to pull it
Hmm.
or stretch it a little bit, but you don't want to rip it.
Hmm.
Now you ripping it.
Yeah.
Now you up here in the hospital because of a ripped muscle or whatever. So in life, we don't want that much stress, right? And I think
Right.
the pandemic, the lockdown, the shutdown, whatever you call it, taught us, especially as
Yeah.
a single mother, right?
Hmm.
That
Yes.
baby, you got to be present for your kids too.
Hmm.
And you can't be present for them if you working these astronomical amount of hours for a job that yeah, now you work 100 hours, you get $100,000. Okay, let's
Hmm.
say a
Hmm.
hundred thousand
Hmm.
dollars a year, but you're working 100 hours uh, a month to get it.
Hmm.
I don't know if the math is mathing, but we're just gonna go with 100 hours of maybe 100 hours a week. That's probably a little bit more crazier, but a hundred
Hmm.
hours a week or 100 hours every 2 weeks. So now it's 50 hours a week. Every week. Now you're 100 hours on a paycheck. Oh, that looks wonderful, but you're exhausted. You have no you
Exhausted.
to give anybody else, your loved ones.
Hmm.
So the you doesn't exist. And I think that's where we started to learn, all right, what you gonna do when this job don't want you no more or can't accommodate you
Look.
or won't accommodate you? Because then there was a point where I'm not gonna talk about what they were doing, but they were saying, hey, if you don't get this, you gotta go here. You gotta
Hmm.
go to the unemployment line. We're not gonna speak on the word because apparently that's a curse word on social media and YouTube and such. But we know.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
what has been your experience as a business owner once you got that balance right, as a
Hmm.
mother, as a business owner, as a 9 to 5er, once you figured out that balance, right? What has
Hmm.
been your experience in the business world as a Black woman being a chef?
So I'm not gonna say necessarily, of course, being a Black woman is can be challenging enough, but because there's a lot of people in Dallas that do food. So I've came across where people decided to go with other chefs because they were more known, or I've came across where there's more established people than me, and people didn't want to choose me because I didn't have as many followers, or because she just started. Is it really going to be a good experience? I sometimes I have to fight for my work, and that can be challenging, but then I have to remember why I restarted my business. I didn't do this for money. I didn't do this for followers. I'm not even doing this necessarily only solely for my customers. I'm doing this because I know I can cook, I know I can bake, and I know even with I hold the highest professional attitude when it comes to my business. You're always gonna get a smile on my face. If something don't come out right, let me compensate you. Very rarely, though. I just want everybody to know that very rare something don't come out right. But I'm going to make sure that you're satisfied, and I'm always going to make sure that I have a positive attitude. And anyone who works with me is always going to have a positive attitude. But I mean, it's sad to say I've been around other people who do food, and I don't get that. I've heard people come to me and say, we don't get that experience. We don't get that professionalism. We don't get that gratitude, a humbling experience. I always say, my sous chef, she came to me one day and she was like, "How did you get started with your business?" And it's so many people that's out here that does food. I'm scared. I'm like, don't be scared. It's not about what you do; it's how you do it. How do others look at you? How do you handle yourself? How do you conduct yourself? As long as you stay like that, no one can tear you down. Everybody taste buds ain't the same. Everybody's not gonna like your dirty rice. They might like their mama's dirty rice, or they might like, Uncle Mike's dirty rice, or someone who's more established, but it does not change that you did not produce a good product. It did not change the fact that you did not put care into your food. So it has been challenging, but I started to pick back up because I don't have to ask for business. People come to me like, "Hey, we would love for you to come cook for us for this event. Hey, I need someone to cater, this banquet. Can you come?" Sure, I can, because they have either heard it through the grapevine, or they know that I'm just a good person in general, and I just have a great business savvy as well. So I came across challenges, but it's not as bad as it was when I first started. So.
Okay. So one of the things that I wanted to put not punch on, I don't know why I was about to say punch on, touch on,
Hmm.
is when you said it's not what you do, but it's how you do it. I kind of my opinion, it is what you do and how you do it. That's what gives the
Hmm.
experience to us. But I do
Hmm.
understand what you were saying with that, because it
Hmm.
was the point that the sous chef was saying, there's so many people out here. What can I do differently? It's just about just start somewhere. Just
Hmm.
literally start. And those are the things that I think we I don't want to say we, well, I'm gonna say we as Black women. I'm gonna just typecast it, whatever you want to say. We as Black women, we
Hmm.
do you feel, let me ask this, do you feel we have that imposter syndrome? Almost like, I know I can do this, but what's going to make me stand out from this one and this name and that name and their followers and da 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 da, to where we talk ourselves out of that gift we have, that business, that idea, that whatever concept that we just don't want to put out. You know, what do you feel like that's more of the failure to launch situation with Black women than it is with any other race?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I can definitely say that is a factor because I have felt that way. It wasn't even necessarily with food. It was me going to school, or just in general, from the way that I would dress, it's intimidating. Even when you see successful women, I know some women who get intimidated by that and like, oh, how can I get there? Because we've had so much rejection in our lives. We've be either
That's true.
even if it's from another race, we've had it inside our own household. As Black women, period, we've experienced rejection, we've experienced interrogation, we've experienced judgment. So I can see as a Black woman how that would be intimidating to start anything or start or just get up and just go, put yourself completely out there because we've experienced rejection so many different times. So yes,
I,
I can
I,
say that.
yeah, it's. I don't want. First of all, I don't want to answer the question for you, so let me not do that. Let me step back a little bit.
Hmm.
But it's just such a over under talked about but oversimplified, if that makes sense. It's just like,
Hmm.
oh, just get out there and do it, girl. Let's go. Just Black girl magic. It's not that simple if we're being honest, because there's so many different factors. There's
Hmm.
the imposter syndrome factor. There's the societal factor. If you're a single mother, single Black mother, there's these different things that are up against you. And people say, well, no, 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 don't let that stop you. Well, we're not trying to let it stop us, right? But sometimes it makes you question. It may not stop you, but it stops you from going as hard as you could be going, because it kind of knocks you down a notch. If we're being honest, it's the knocking you down a notch part where it's like, why don't I go as hard as this one or that one? Or what is stopping me from saying, I don't care about this. I'm gonna go and put my food in Walmart, or I'm gonna go and I don't know that you would want to do the Walmart thing or the Costco or the whatever thing, but you know what I mean? Like, what if that woman was wanting to do that? And the thing that's stopping her is she's not a big name. She's not this, she's not that. She doesn't have all these connections. And it's like, well, get some connections. Well, how do you do this? So when we talk about what the problems are, there's not a lot of, and this is where I'm talking about the oversimplifying it. It's just go do it, go do it. Well, let's talk about how to do it, because a lot of us don't know how, right? So, what would
Hmm.
you tell someone who's trying to start in a food business? They're like, do I sell plates? Do I do this? Can I specialize in that? What do you tell someone
Hmm.
how to start? Like you were saying, the sous chef was how to start.
So going back to her, that was just one of the things that I told her. But I had to speak a little bit on me. The first thing that when me getting back out there, you got to have patience. That is the first thing. And I know everything in a race, you don't have to compete with the next person. You just have to think about where am I going to start. It could be something as simple as, you know what, if you do go to church, if you do have kids who are in school, are you friends with their parents? Start off small. What I did is I started creating dishes and started branching out to the people that I already knew. Somebody that you know knows another person, and so on and so on and so on. It's going to keep going. And it is going to take investment, time, and money. So yes, you have to be in a place in your life. Are you willing to take the $50 that you was gonna do to get your hair done and put that into your business? So you know what? Let me take a step back and from the hair and the nails and let me spend this money on this food. And I'm going to take 5 people that I know. Hey, I just want you to try it. Tell me how you like it. Give me some feedback. Okay, then that person told somebody else, hey, Chef D, can I get an order of your egg rolls? You sure can. And it just starts to slowly go from there. But don't get to the point where everything that you do, you look at it as a failure. No, it's an investment. You need to just start off slow. And I'm not even at fast pace right now. I'm still starting off slow to the point where I had no caterings, no events at like 2, 3 months to the point where I am now doing 3 to 4 different events or caterings a month. And that's not even counting how many people who call me for cakes and cheesecakes. It started to slowly pick back up because I took my time. And
I
again, I
think that's
remained
very,
humble
very
with it.
important. Very,
Yeah.
very important. I First of
Hmm.
all, I wish I was in the circle of friends when you was like, "Hey, try this. Tell me," because I'm like, "Why did I know you?" When you was like, "Hey, like we next door, girl.
Hmm.
Tell me what you think." Of like, baby, I would not send me all of what you want me to taste here
Hmm.
your way. Send it my way because
I'm
I
still like that. I still do it. I still do it. So don't worry. I got you.
listen, because of seafood, the lobsters, we'll talk, we'll talk, we'll talk.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so so um, one of the things that I think it's important to mention, and I think it's very, very important to highlight, is the patience part of it, because social media. Let's talk about that.
Ooh.
When your
Mm.
followers ain't following, baby, when your likes ain't liking, when your hearts ain't hearting, when your shares ain't sharing, when you don't got people talking about you, tagging you and stuff, or they post your stuff that you made for them, but then they don't tag you. You know what I mean? It
Mm.
gets to the point where social media has made it as a competition with your nobody really. It's almost like, well, I'm not going to say nobody, it's everybody. It's almost like everybody against you, really.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
it makes you feel like a nobody because your business is like, whoa, my food is this, my food is that, but nobody knows about me, nobody's
Mm-hmm.
sharing,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And there's so many social media outlets, right, that we can
Yeah.
utilize: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, uh Twitter, or X, excuse me, because I don't want to be whatever it's called now, X.
Mm-hmm.
But all these different platforms. What's the one? Pinterest. All them
Mm-hmm.
different places, where you can post your food and you get all these different followers and things like that. What do you say for someone who's building up their online platform, their online presence? Is it worth it?
Ooh. So for the longest, I was not big on social media at all. People just knew that I do food and desserts, but I actually don't have over, I want to say, 200 followers on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. I have the bare minimum of followers, but that does not compare to the amount of business that I have. And it's sad to say, I get more support from strangers than I do people who follow me. And that's just the sad truth. I get more support from people walking down the street than I do from people who've been knowing I've been doing food since I was a child. Now, I do have
Mm,
close family and friends who have supported me, but I have some that, no, I do food, but they have supported other people instead of me, or given me that opportunity to work with them. I've had that happen to me before. I've still encountered some of that to this day. But it's just sad to say I get more support from strangers. So I don't want to say social media is not important because it is who you know, but I will say the followers will come. I may not have over a certain amount of followers, but I get followers every week. And it's going to slowly, you just need that one person, that one opportunity, that one experience to get you where you need to go. But, as I mentioned before, as long as you know why you're doing it and you keep that in mind, I would say you would be okay. The followers will come. If it's really what you want to do and nothing can stop you, don't worry about the followers. They will come. They probably gonna come from people you don't know, and you're gonna have to be okay. You're gonna have to be okay with someone that you've been knowing all your life. not always supporting you in what you're doing now. You're gonna have to be
Now let's
okay.
let's talk about personal. Hold on, let me write that down before I forget that because I'm over here jotting down notes. Taking it
Okay.
personal. Taking it
hmm
personal. Mama, daddy, cousin, best friend, bestie,
hmm
whoever, right? That's
Yeah.
been knowing you do this, maybe even help you start out doing this, but now you've gotten some sort of she got this, she don't need me. How
hmm
do you not take personal offense to that? Let's talk about that. Does it does it fuck with you a little bit? Let me just be a little real. Does it fuck with you a little bit? Let's be real.
So let's take them helping you with the business. Let's take that out the equation. Let's take it as they know what you do. Let's take that out the equation. If I've been
Okay.
knowing somebody and they don't support me, and that man, this is supposed to be my ride or die. We've been knowing each other since we were kids. We went to church together. They wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. That's how I take it. Anyone who has been knowing what I do and ain't reached out or, hey man, I just see you out there. I'm not going to necessarily say I'm writing them off. You just know who's supposed to be in your life at that particular time. That's why I say don't take it personal because that person is just moving out your way to make right for the people who need to be in your circle. And it might be because it may not even be just you. They may have distanced themselves from everybody. You never know what's going on in their life. But if they out and they hanging out with this person and they supporting that business, but they not supporting you, that person didn't need to be in your corner in the first place. So that's why I say don't take it personal. You don't want nothing hindering you. I don't need the energy. You don't want the energy. So that's I'm not gonna say I used to take it personal because I am a big person on friendship. If you've been in my corner or in my life for a long time, it does hurt. But one thing I've learned is that if you hold on to someone or something that's not supposed to be there, and like I said, let's bring this back to me being sick, holding on to so many people, holding on to so many situations that wasn't even supposed to be there in the first place, and putting me in the hospital, or taking away from my child's mouth, or taking away from missed opportunities that I could have had in this point in life, if you don't know nothing else in life, this the way this world is going, you cannot hold on to stuff like that or people like that. So no, I don't take it personally. I just
I
smile.
agree with that. That's deep. That's deep.
Oh.
One of the things that you said that when you said you don't know where people are in their life, right? They could be going through a whole bunch of stuff behind closed doors, and even with them supporting people, showing their face, being out, they could also be putting on a front there too. Because I know people who
Yeah.
like their life is to party, but you don't ever know that they are going through something because they're always partying. That's their escape from
Yeah.
whatever their reality is. So one of the things that I've learned to do too is to not always I don't want to say tell people how to support you, but like this lady said to not to me, but it was something where it was like, how do you deal with someone? It was like some corporate bullshit. Let
Mhm.
me just say that. But it
Mhm.
was like,
Mhm.
come from a place of inquiry rather than coming from a place of uh, chastisement or blame, rather than coming to somebody from a place of blame or whatever, coming from a place of inquiry. And what that meant, like when she broke it down, because I was like, what what is this, because I'm sitting here about to scroll through it, but I'm like, dang, I need to get this training credit for work, so let
Mhm.
me make sure let the video play. But it
Mhm.
actually ended up being something that was worth my time and effort. And what she said was coming from a place of inquiry, and what that meant is somebody may not know that they're not supporting you in the way that you think they should be, right? Because
Mhm.
they may think giving you a like, hearting it, uh maybe sharing it to somebody's DM or something like that, like you see a share, or they might have screenshot and said, yo, my girl does this, and they tell somebody but don't tell you that they told them, or you see that they liked it but you like, yo, I needed you to tell somebody, whatever it is, right? So
Mhm.
sometimes we don't know how we expect someone to. Let me see. I've been in a situation personally where I didn't know somebody needed a certain type of support, a certain
Mhm.
type of affirmation, a certain type of attention, that when they said it to me, I was like, I didn't know you wanted that. Like, you always told me, for instance, a friend told me I talk too much. Well, I have a podcast.
Mm.
So, but when you needed me to talk to you and you was like, hey, I need somebody to talk to me because I be doing these long drives and I don't have nobody to talk to. Oh,
Mm. Mhm.
I do that. And just you told me that was a problem. But it's like,
Mm.
no, yo, I need it. I'm like, wow, okay, I didn't know that. I thought I was doing too much. So sometimes we don't know that what we were doing too much of, or what we thought we was sweating, or what we thought we was being extra on social media, might have been the support that that person needed. So sometimes coming from a place of inquiry, like, yo, how can I support you? What do you feel is support? Like, sometimes you say, hey, yo, I need more business. Can you just take a screenshot of my food or share this? And that's the asking for help thing that I know I have a problem with. That's the
Mm.
asking somebody to do something specifically that feels like you're getting a handout. And it's
Mm.
like, mm, did we get out of that? Like, because like before social media, how did word of mouth come about? You say, hey, can you tell somebody about what I'm doing? Do you mind sharing with so and so your experience with my food? And it wasn't a website. It wasn't well, it may have been a website to testimonial, but skip that. Just the word of
Mhm.
mouth part, telling somebody.
Mhm.
So sometimes do you think sometimes we forget that, oh, maybe tell somebody. Maybe don't assume, and I'm not saying you do, but I'm
Mhm.
saying for me, I assume someone knows how I need them to support me. Am I
Mhm.
saying that right? How I need them to
No.
support me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And and
Mhm.
and they'll be like, uh, I didn't know you wanted me to do that. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, I needed you to share this or whatever because I'm trying to get my subscribers up, or I'm trying to do blah blah blah. And it's like, oh yo, I love your content, I love your podcast, I love your da da da. So
So
share it.
I I have a question then. So let's say, not me interviewing you, but
No,
just
you
touching
good.
bases.
This is a
Yeah, yeah.
conversation.
So touching bases on what you said. When I talk about people that I've been knowing not supporting me, now this is not every friend, this is not
Mhm,
every family member, but let's just
mhm,
say that friend has had a business for years. You've always purchased things from them. They done sent you stuff to post or to give out a shout out. You spent multiple funds on their stuff, but then when you get a business and you ask either the same thing of them or they see you out there, but they're not showing you that same support, it kind of makes you question, are they really supporting you the way that you supported them? See, that's what I mean more on the lines of my experience. I have literally came across people where I have spent money. I've showed up at events. I've showed up I've offered my help even when they necessarily didn't need my help. That's okay. I'm gonna stay here. But then when I needed them, I don't get it. I've actually asked people, hey, can you taste my food? And not asking for money, I'm not asking for any type of necessarily recognition. Just if you can just go and just be like, "Hey y'all, follow Chef D. I tried this." Like I've actually known two major chefs where I've asked if you can just do a live because they be on live and just say just send people my direction. But I have literally supported them where I came out bought their food. I've given them shout out on their stories. It's even been a time where we both did an interaction at the same time. Hey, make sure you post me on your story. All right, I got you. They didn't do it for me. And the
Mm,
interaction was at the same time.
mm.
So it's kind of I see
No,
what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Where you want to ask people for help, but sometimes you gotta learn how to ask the right people because I don't feel like I
that's
should have to
true.
ask you more than once. I don't feel like we all know this game, and if you want that same support and help from me, and I ask of the bag, it should come to you with ease. And if it doesn't, I don't feel like I have to, like I tell my son, I don't think I have to keep repeating myself. I don't want to
No,
have to
I
keep
understand.
repeating.
I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah,
I understand.
yeah.
I think when it's the, well, let me say this. Where I'm coming from is more of the people who they don't know, like, oh yeah, my homegirl cooks. She's a cook.
Mhm,
She knows
mhm,
how to cook real good. Like you got them friends where it's not like they don't necessarily call you a chef, not because they're belittling anything that you do, but they just
mhm.
it's just like she cooks. I eat her food all the time. Yeah, she cool. She
Yeah,
cold.
yeah.
Not even cool, but she
Mhm.
cold. But
Yeah.
they not the types to just market you. They're the types to just be like, oh, I got a homegirl that cooks. I let you know about it. Let me know if you need somebody. But they're not really serious and they're not really putting it out there in a presentation format. And so you got
Mhm.
those friends who don't really know how to market anything, let alone themselves properly. But you've got friends who just don't know how to support you. I'm talking about
Mhm.
those specifically who are genuine, but they're like, yo, I thought just hearting it was gonna help you get your likes up and get your da da da. Because when I do this for so and so over here, people start interacting with their content, and they're thinking, oh, because of social media, if I heart this or if I share this, but they sharing it to random people, right? The to
Mhm.
people that's not even asking for food or asking to have a chef or whatever. So it's not really helping you, even though they think they are. So sometimes
Mhm.
those people specifically are the ones I'm
Mhm.
saying, we got to remember me and speaking to myself specifically, I got to remember to say, hey, can you do this for me rather than that? Because the way that I'm trying to do XYZ, I need you to help in this way. Are you okay with doing it that way? Versus the
Yeah.
ones that you're talking about. Now, if they a chef too, and they don't understand that you trying to do this and that and XYZ, and then they're not reciprocating, that's a different story entirely. They're a business
Oh
owner
yeah.
doing the same thing where they understand the marketing game. They understand not that they understand the marketing game, but they understand that it's a marketing process to business that
Mhm.
word of mouth is big with, whether it's social
Yeah.
media or whether it's in person, marketing is big. So
Mhm.
to say that they're not doing it, that's a different story. I'm talking about like the ones who've been knowing you from day one, but I got friends who think I'm a computer genius, girl. I can do whatever, whatever. It be programming this and that. I'm like, I don't do that. I actually do X, Y, Z. They're like, oh, I mean, I know you was in computers or whatever, but or you podcast, or you be on the internet and all this with the YouTube and stuff. I thought I don't do that. I don't do this.
Mhm.
Or
Mhm.
you be writing movies. Correction. I do this, not that. So now they got these different titles where they kind of just generalize you and they don't really
Mhm.
know what you do. And them friends are trying to be helpful, but they're not, kind of like helpful in the way that you need them to be helpful. So
Mhm.
one of the things that I thought was interesting when you said that it's not reciprocated. I think we do also need to hold those who are accountable, that should be accountable. And that's the let me ask this because I'm saying I'm giving too many like dissertations right now. Let me stop that because I this is one I'm really like, whoa, I know a lot about this now.
Mhm.
But would you say that it's also about enforcing boundaries with your business relationships, with your friendships, in terms of if they're not reciprocating, baby, I'm not reciprocating. Well, that means reciprocation. But you get what I'm saying? Understanding the people who are reciprocating feeding into them as they feed into you. But if they're not feeding into you, then it's time to say, you know what? Let me step back here because this is not a mutually beneficial friendship, relationship, whatever it may be, partnership. And then you say, listen, this is me giving more of me or me giving more of my resources or my time or whatever, and it's not being reciprocated. Do you feel like in business, you also have to have those boundaries as well?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you can play it like I'm gonna take it like this. If something's not benefiting you, you keep hanging on to it. And like I said before, and it also goes to like how your friends are. Are supporters. I know all my people are not social media heads. They don't even go on there and press the like button. They don't even go out to eat as much as they do. So I don't necessarily expect that support from them, but mm,
Some are scrollers. If we're being honest, I know a lot of my
yeah,
friends, they get on social media and they scroll. And I'm like, you saw this, you watched this
yeah.
whole show, you didn't subscribe, you didn't. Let me stop putting me in this.
No.
Go
I
ahead.
mean, it's the same.
Go
Like,
ahead.
for example, TikTok. You can tell who viewed your video or looked at your post on TikTok. I'm trying to figure out why every one of my friends, not all of them, but I'm like, why did you watch it but didn't like it? But this user such and such done liked it. Again, it trickles back. Sometimes you get more support from strangers than you do than the people that know you. But what I've noticed about my business is that again, I'm not expecting everyone that knows me to support me. I am expecting them to at least show a level of respect. Do not come to me and ask me, hey, can you buy this bracelet that I made? I supported you in the past. You've been knowing I've been doing this. And you reached out to me in the blue to support you for something that you do, but you've never supported me. So that is when I have to say, is this the person that needs to be in my corner? But I'm not, like I said before, if you don't call me for a order, if you don't call me for a cake, but hey, we see each other and like, hey man, it's been a minute. That's fine. Don't ask of me when you're not willing to give me something that I needed at that particular time. Whether it's a business or my personal relationship, that goes if it's your homegirl, if it's your homeboy, if you dating someone, how do they benefit you? You putting all this energy into them, but what does that man or woman give to you in return? So I don't even say that business wise. I think that plays into any aspect of life. What does this person
It
actually
definitely
do
does.
for you? What do they do for you as much as you do for them? Now if y'all ain't doing nothing for each other, okay, fine. Hey, I see you Thanksgiving next year. I see you at Christmas time. I love you I love you. I see you when I see you. That's fine. But if they're asking of you or you supported them in the past, I do. Now I will say I will take that personal. I'm like, huh, okay, all right. Nah, they don't need to be. You don't need to let them in your corner in your space. So, and I probably got a little bit off topic of the question that you asked, but that's how I look
No,
at it. So,
it's a trust me, it's layers of this onion, okay, that we unpeeling for ourselves
mhm,
even. Because I'm
mhm,
realizing, oh, I got some triggers with this
yeah,
conversation too. I'm gonna have to when I replay this, I'm gonna have to take some notes myself and come back to this because it what you said really brought up a lot of amazing benchmarks or points or bullet point. I'm gonna say bullet points because
mhm,
it does make you look at it as all right. If I did support you in the past, but you see me doing this, you see me going hard, and you're not supporting me, or you're telling me, "Oh, I see you post your food on social media, or whatever. That was cute, or I like that plate. Can I
mm,
get one?" But I'm not
mm,
talking about
mhm,
paying, and I'm not talking about. resharing it or any kind of way that I'm compensating you for it. If I'm not paying for it, okay, but I'm not even gonna share it and talk about it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of
Yeah.
like, what are you doing for me? Because if I'm making you this for free, but you're not even talking about it on social media, it's like, you know, how or tell somebody else about it. Maybe not necessarily because you're not a social media person. Okay, we get it. But
Mm-hmm.
you don't tell anybody about your experience to give me more business, or you have my business cards while you're eating and you're telling somebody about it. Let me give you, girl, my homegirl did this plate of greens and such and blah 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 here. Let me
Mm-hmm.
give you her card because I gave you a sample of it from my plate, and you like, girl, this is good. Da, 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 da. Word of mouth. Now you don't have anybody doing that too. Then it's like, yeah,
But
this is
it goes back to what you said earlier. How does a person, specifically a black woman, get started in something, and do they feel like they hit a block when they trying to start? It's because we don't have. Do we really have other black women supporting us? Do we have other people that supporting us? Do we have those close people that support truly us? And that's me being as a black woman specifically. You know what I'm saying? I have encountered where I've seen other black women not wanting other black women to succeed, even though they've been successful. They are successful. Oh man, she out there, and dang, I think she doing that better than me, aka silent haters. We get
mhm.
a lot of silent haters, even though they don't want to say it, they show it. One thing I learned in the past is you don't have to say anything. I'm watching how you act with me. I'm watching your actions. So, and I'm not saying, oh, somebody probably watch this and be like, what is she talking about me? If you think I'm talking about you, I probably am. That's just the truth. You got to really
I
sit there and think, do I do that? Do you? It's hard
I
for
made
black
a
women
post.
because other black women. I actually bought a chef book from another chef, sweet lady. But you know what the first thing she said to me when I told her about my possible, I ain't gonna say it because I don't want to speak what I'm doing in the future and then it gets shut down because I've had where I've spoken an idea and it was taken. But the first thing she told me, "Oh yeah, that'll be good. Hey, it's enough out here for all of us." And I didn't know if I should take that personal, but I went back to her and I was like, "Why did you make that comment?" She was like, "Because I've seen so many people out here that want to get it before somebody else gets it because they don't think it's enough out here. They want to get it all, but don't understand that there's so much in this world that we all can make it. We all can be successful. And that is the problem. You don't want to support me because you don't want to see me succeed. And it's because you haven't experienced this goes back, let's say they are that person. This goes back to, have you ever been supported in your life, truly been genuinely supported from the people that showed that you thought loved you? They probably don't even know how to support you because they never been truly supported themselves. And that's the problem today in this world. I'm like, as black women, as one of the most degraded races in this world, sad to say, that's the last thing you should be doing to a fellow sister. Seriously. So yeah,
You
huh? What did you say?
oh, mm. I literally have a whole notepad full of stuff to remind myself because I'm like, shit, woo, okay. First of all, you
Mm,
brought up something earlier when you said if the shoe fits. Now, I made a post a while ago now about, sometimes folks are mad because the shoe fits, but they swear up and down they wasn't shoe shopping to begin with. Now,
mm,
take that, leave the rest, whatever you need to do with that. But I made that
mm,
post and I know it offended people who was feeling offended. But you should feel
mm,
offended because it might have been your shoe that you was wearing. The shoe that you was wearing is the shoe that fit. So
mm-hmm.
I can't apologize for any of that. But what I wanted
Yeah.
to say is when you said They don't want to see you succeed. There are cases where now the silent hater or the undercover or whatever you want to say, is it covert hater?
Mhm.
I think you say that covert hater. Um, a lot of times is the one that I've encountered is the one who they want to see you succeed, just not dominate. Okay, because baby, when you
Mm.
dominate and you start being the topic of everybody out of everybody's mouth,
Mhm.
oh, have you seen Chef D's food? You seen her play? You seen, oh, Chef D, Chef D, Chef D, Chef D, and then you see the social media. You know, let's think about like a TV show when they all that stuff popping up. Chef D, Chef D, Chef D. You know, when you start that, then it's a problem. But it wasn't a problem when you were on the come up. It's just a problem once you got up and you stayed up and you
Mhm.
started then I've noticed that people will have a problem with that. Then it's like, oh, your little this or your little that. They want to come to you. Oh, I saw your little this, your little that. It's not little, baby. It's big. Okay, it's
Yeah.
big. You
Mhm.
started and it's
Mhm.
bigger now. But a lot of times you run into people in different industries. I've seen it from literally every spectrum of industry. Not specifically black women, but we're on the topic of black women, and
Yeah.
you and I both are black women,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna talk about black women. And with black women, it's been this thing where it's like only when you start to touch on my insecurities do I then have a problem with you. But as
Yeah.
long as you yesing me up and oh girl, this, you that, this, da 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 da, da. Oh, you know, yes, this is wrong for you. You know, they did you wrong. They did da, 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 da. But as soon as you start saying what's right, as soon as you start
Yep.
speaking up on something that now touches on their insecurities, now you're a problem. Now you're a threat. And that's in
Mhm.
every industry I've seen. Like,
Yep.
not even industries that I'm in, but industries that I've seen. And I'm like, whoa, you know, what is this? Why can't we genuinely be supportive of women? Now, when we broaden it to women, there's a wider spectrum. So
Mhm.
the women part, you know, their dynamics to that I can't speak on. But the black women spectrum I can speak on. And I
Mhm.
see it. And that's the part that is one of the things is like, hey, what can we do to be different than we have been to one another in being okay? And I think this is where therapy comes in because I think there's a lot of unhealed trauma when it comes to
Yes.
black women in our insecurities and how that damages us to the point where we cannot love or support another woman in that area because of something that we've dealt with where we've been
Mhm.
wronged or whatever, and now we take that baggage and bring it into next situation, next situation, next situation, and now we're the victim, and so we act as a victim, right? And I think
Mhm.
that's a situation where we have to sit down and say, you know what, therapy is a continuous service improvement of ourselves, a personal service improvement. It's something that we should continue, not just one time and you're done, because new shit happens, new baggage incurs, you know, accumulates.
Mhm.
So we have to be willing to check that proposal or to make
Mhm.
sure, are you coming from a place of love? Or are you coming from a place of malice, hate, jealousy, envy, whatever you want to say? Because we're human. We see someone who's our body goals and they're doing this and doing that and ain't gained a lot of weight or ain't this, ain't that, or they gained the weight you want to gain, or they got the man you got want to have, or the type of this, the type of house, type of car, type of job, type of whatever, type of success, and you see yourself in them. So now you have a comparison. You're like, oh, I can see myself in them. But once they start to surpass whatever your uh what you say success level was, and they surpassed that, now you're like, okay. And I've caught myself doing this. So I'm not speaking from a place of I'm not never been there. Yes, I have. Yes, I have been there.
Mhm.
And I've had to check myself and be like, are you tripping off of this one? Else. And saying, why am I upset? Why do I feel like I deserve this? Why do I feel like I don't deserve this? Why do I feel like she doesn't deserve this? Because once we start doing that, self-correcting, self-evaluating, self-checking, then I think we begin to level out the jealousy, the insecurities, the inequity, the feeling of inequity, that we have. Sometimes that's unjust, yes, but then there's times when we create it in our own minds. Like
Mhm.
somebody's better than us. Are they really? Or do you feel like they're better than you?
Mhm.
And why are you operating in that space? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's my proposal.
Mhm.
But what do you feel like is what would be your proposal with that for Black women?
I mean, you know, when I talked about my weight loss journey, but it's not. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so because I think it's okay. So when I used to be so angry at the world. I used to be so angry at the world, and again, carrying and bringing on so much baggage and negative things. You are right. You need to self reflect on yourself. Someone making more money than you, or getting the house, or getting a husband, or doing whatever should not affect you to the point where it disrupts your being of life. Your story is not everybody else's story. Your story was not written the same when you came into this world, and you need to understand that. So if something bothers you that much, somebody keeping you up at your sleep, whether it's your own way of thinking or what they're doing, you need to say, why does this truly bother me so much? And yes, that goes
Hmm.
into therapy. Talk to someone about your problems, or someone asks you, why does that bother you? And then that's when you start getting to the root of it. Oh, because this is what happened to me when I was a kid, or this is what happened to me when I came across this person or this situation. And you never fully heal, because as Black women, we're taught, or not necessarily taught, we're forced to keep moving, regardless of our situations, regardless of what we're going through. So we forget to heal before having to step up and keep moving. And that is where we fall short, because we're not self healing. We're not really getting to the root of it, because we got kids. Some of us are single moms. Some of us have to work 2, 3 jobs. We don't have time to we don't have time to take a step back and really focus on ourselves, because we have so many things, so many other things that we have to focus on. So I would definitely say you definitely need to really self evaluate. And that's if you want to do it, because some women don't want to. And that's fine.
But
But as women who want to be better, who want to do better, who want to see other Black women do better, you need to take the time and really, really look at what you need to do, because it starts with you. I don't care if 50 people are pointing the finger at you, or oh no, it's their fault. Okay, but you need to also make sure you're good too. So it starts with you. Okay, that person don't want to support you. That's all right. I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm gonna keep still showing, putting a smile up on my face. You don't have to be nasty or negative to them. I'm not nasty or negative to nobody. I don't care if you do or don't support me. I'm still gonna say hi to you. I'm still gonna conduct because that's who I am. I am a Black queen, regardless of how you treat me or regardless of anybody. So
hmm
yeah, so
I,
that's my intake on it.
therapy therapy isn't a weakness in my mind, but just like college isn't for everybody, therapy may not be for everybody. But that's only if you don't know how to self correct. If you're not at a place in your life, to me, where you can self correct or self evaluate yourself and adjust, then you may need additional assistance. So the therapy isn't a weakness, it's a point where you're saying, you know what, I can't do this by myself. I don't understand, I don't have the tools. And I think to your point, Black women specifically, we are taught, and I know Black men are too, because I've talked to a lot of Black men who say the same. They don't have that
Mhm.
space, but they don't have that space with Black women. We will touch on that on another show, because I want to definitely talk about that, because that is in and of itself its own just bucket of everything, if we want to say that.
Yeah.
But for
Mhm.
Black women, we are taught that, if we look weak, we are weak. We're going to get treated like a weakling. We're going to get treated
Mhm.
like we, or less than, or subservient, or whatever the case may be. So we're taught to, just like you said, suck it up and move on. And
Mhm.
Black men is too, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
So we both come from that space where it's like, nah, you gotta be this, or you gotta be on beast mode, or people gonna take you as a sheep. And what does sheep do? They
Mhm.
follow, and all this other type of thing. So what you touched on when you said that the the Black woman has to, suck it up and move on. We don't get that opportunity to own our feelings, own our emotions. Because
Mhm.
if you one of the things that I've learned is, when you need to cry, cry. When you need to be
Yeah.
mad, be mad. When you but be mad and cry in a safe space. That's
Mhm.
where you're not damaging everybody around you. You're not making people feel effed up about whatever it is. Like, own that emotion, get it out, grieve whatever it is you've got to grieve about, but then don't dwell in it. And that's the part
Yeah.
where I think it's either or a lot of times with Black women. So, sometimes we don't know how to be in between when it comes to get it out your system. Let's move past it. It's either get it out your system, become the victim, versus let's get past it, where we're in the middle, and we're understanding what I did wrong, what they did wrong, what I allowed, what they allowed,
Mhm.
if you want to say it that way. But it's
Yeah.
definitely, even when somebody does something to you, you allowed it. So there was an
Mhm.
allowance of some degree. There was a what do you call it? There was a your fault in this too sort of situation as well, regardless of what happened outside of some situations. And I'm not going to get into those situations, but we as women know what those situations are, particularly. So
Mhm.
outside of the extreme situations where we didn't allow it, but somebody forced themselves, that's a different thing. But in the context of a regular situation, dealing with people, interactions, and things like that, you allowed it. So what you will
Mhm.
allow will continue. So if you allow someone to make you feel a certain way, if they're doing it, you allowed it. If you're allowing
Mhm.
yourself to frame this situation in a certain way, you allowed it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So we got to
Yeah.
take accountability for our mindset too, and what we're putting out, what we're spewing out when we're angry. And that's a lot of
Yeah.
times they're like, oh no, I said that when I was angry. You still said it. So let's address that. You still said it. Did you mean it? You didn't mean it? Okay, let's look at ways to speak differently. Let's look at ways to address it differently next time. Not just say, oh, I say that just because I was mad. You still said it. Or I said that I
Yep.
was joking, girl. You still said it. And there is some truth to a joke too. So now it's like, let's address that, because if that hurt me and there is a true, issue with that, let's address it. Don't just dust it under the rug. And I think a lot of times that's where Black women get into that too, when we're in business, when we're trying to be successful, when we're in a relationship, when we're trying to follow all these societal norms, we get into that, well, that's how guys are. That's how these folks are. That's how da, 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 or that's what it takes to get here. Or that's the nature of the beast. Or that's a part of that's what comes with the territory. Why does it come with the territory? Why? You know what I mean? Like we gotta
Yeah.
really ask ourselves, why did we make it come with the territory? Because a lot of it is we made it come with the territory. If we're being
Mm-hmm.
honest, it didn't have to come with the territory. And so now it's just like, what have we made in our minds this situation or this journey to be where we done added a lot of shit to it at this
Yeah.
point? Well, you know, it doesn't have to be that way. We don't have to think this way. We don't have to do this. And it's just so much I could say on this subject. I see that now. So much I could say on it.
Yes, it
Clearly,
is.
because
It is. It is.
while we're off the subject, let me get back on the subject because you, as a chef, we need to
Hmm.
know where we can find you, follow you, support you, purchase anything that you have going on too. So let's get time for that because I know
Okay.
we've gone completely off the rocker with Black women topics, and this need to be another conversation because I see that now.
Hmm.
So I definitely want to have you back. We can still talk about your food for sure, but I definitely would like to have you on for a panel because, man,
Okay.
we got a lot to discuss with that women in business, Black women in business. Trust me, because
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
just realized, woo, we we got a lot going on here to unpack, as they
We
say. And
always
I'm not
do.
even a
Yes.
therapist. So where can they find you, follow you, support you, subscribe, purchase, any of that?
So my IG is the Soul of Things as well as my Facebook. I do have link in both bios where you can reach out to me by email. I'm even on Yelp. I'm on Yelp, my business, and you can send me inquiries, orders, all of that on Yelp as well. But you can hit me up on my cell phone at any time. I don't have no specific hours. I mean, I'm saying that loudly. Don't call me at 3 a.m. But anyone can reach me. My phone social medias as well. But and I am working on my website
Okay.
where I am working on my website as well. But for right now you can reach me by Facebook, Instagram, and on Yelp for any
And how,
catering inquiries. Uh-huh.
and is it into the soul of things? Is that how they find you on social media? Or
It's the
how would they
soul of
search you?
things. So yeah,
Oh,
it'll
the
be
soul of things.
yeah, the soul of me, the soul of things. Hmm. So
Okay, so
yeah, so
THESOUL of
hmm
things.
yes.
Okay. And that's on
Instagram
Instagram.
is yeah, Instagram is THESOUL and then underscore things.
Okay.
Facebook is just the soul of things.
Okay.
And then
And
each one of those
then
bios has a link to all of my contact. You just click it.
okay. Okay. So do we have, you said the website is coming soon. So we'll be
Yes.
able to see pictures, videos, all that of your food.
Yes.
And
You can see pictures
on
now
the
on social media, but yes, the website, I'm working with a photographer now that's going to take pictures of all my food, desserts, and everything like that and put it on my website.
okay. And I also want to say when I edit this to play back the video, we're gonna have some video footage. Is that right? Some video footage of
Hmm.
your food, you preparing the food, and some pictures, so you all will be able to see some of the content that your girl is working with. So we definitely will support here at That Part Podcast. You definitely have our support, and you about to have my order, okay? And if you ever need a taste tester, let me know. Some stuff. I am a little peach of
I
a
wish, you know what?
picky
I
eater.
wish I could have invited you yesterday out. I had Cajun pasta, dirty rice, Cajun chicken
Oh,
strips, and Cajun butter sauce,
when was
and my garlic
this?
bread. This was
When was
yesterday.
this?
The event was yesterday in Fort Worth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a
Yeah.
distance for me, but we had to work out a middle point, maybe kind of like when you go to meet the kids, a middle point
Uh-huh.
to
Uh-huh.
pass off the children, a middle point.
Okay.
Um, but I do want to close this out. I'm Jay Marie, host of That Part Podcast. You can subscribe to That Part _pod on YouTube. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, same name, that part underscore pod, THATPART underscore POD. So you all can definitely subscribe there. And let me minimize this so I can see stuff. And